Good evening. I'm Patricia Vallone with the CTV News Update. Topping our news tonight, Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown joins 41 other attorneys general in suing the social media company Meta, which owns Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and WhatsApp. Brown says our nation faces a mental health crisis, particularly among young people, and that's fueled by use of social media platforms. Brown says they are filing the lawsuit because our society can no longer take a wait-and-see approach with Meta. Brown accuses Meta of maximizing profits at the expense of public health by exploiting the vulnerabilities of children. Attorneys General nationwide launched an investigation into Meta in 2021.
We allege that the company knowingly designed and deployed harmful features on its social media platforms to purposely addict children to its products. Features like infinite scroll and near constant alerts were created with the express goal of hooking young users, continually luring them back online and causing long-term psychological harm. By bringing the weight of 42 attorneys general to this fight, we hope to finally push this company to do the right thing and to take the necessary steps to ensure that social media is a safe place for our children.
And Brown says he looks forward to having discussions with Meta about how it can change its platform to better protect children and teens. The County Council is looking at a resolution aimed at making sure that construction companies doing business with the county treat their workers fairly. CR 101 is sponsored by District 8 Council member Edward Burrows. He says the measure sets requirements for companies that do construction projects in Prince George's County. The resolution, which was up for discussion today, provides for new procurement guidelines.
We know that sometimes we have companies that we hire that engage in wage theft, labor trafficking, where they hire a group of people and they don't pay them their appropriate wages, they don't give them the appropriate benefits, and they force them to work long hours without a proper safety equipment. What this bill would do is say if we find out that you're intentionally cheating workers, we will bar you from doing business with Prince George's County government. There's been a lot of interest over the years on supporting businesses, which we want to do as well. There's been less of an emphasis over the last few years and decades on supporting workers. And so this bill rewards responsible businesses by allowing them to continue to do work in Prince George's County in an ethical fashion.
And the resolution is the companion bill to CR 102. Well, Prince George's police investigate a domestic-related murder in Hillcrest Heights. Police were called to the 3300 block of Curtis Drive just before noon on Monday. When officers arrived, they found a woman in a home suffering from trauma to the body. She died later at a hospital. Anyone with details on the incident is asked to contact Crime Solvers at 1-866-411-TIPS. Meantime, State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy has continually spoken out against domestic violence. She says that while intimate partner homicides have been declining over the past few years, her office is concerned about an upward trend of family violence.
Domestic homicides has always been a significant issue in Prince George's County. We have seen a decrease in intimate partner homicides over the past 4 to 5 years. However, family violence, which is also domestic violence, we've seen some increases in that. And that could involve other types of relatives, including brothers and brothers or brothers and sisters, parents and children, or other familial relationships. We're seeing a rise in those arguments or disagreements between relatives turn into homicides and other violent acts. And that's very concerning to us.
Braveboy says that her office is available to help any victim of domestic violence. Meanwhile, late this afternoon, police announced the arrest of suspects in 2 separate domestic homicides. They are 25-year-old Eric King and 41-year-old Haroon Jackson. They're charged with killing relatives in Suitland and Upper Marlboro earlier this year. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Coming up, Angela Alsobrooks gained some major endorsements in her bid to replace outgoing Senator Ben Cardin. We'll have the details after the break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Art is hard.
But not as hard as living in an over-policed community.
Art is hard.
But not as hard as accessing mental health resources.
Art is hard.
But not as hard as being uprooted by gentrification.
At Artistic Noise, art creates a community for system-impacted youth
to be seen
and heard.
Learn more at artisticnoise.org.
Welcome back. Well, Maryland Governor Wes Moore throws his support behind Prince George's County Executive Angela Alsobrooks to succeed retiring U.S. Senator Ben Cardin. Yesterday's announcement at a Baltimore brewery solidified a partnership the two have had since Alsobrooks backed Moore in his bid for the state's top job. Montgomery County Council member Will Jawando dropped out of the Senate race Friday and endorsed Alsobrooks alongside of Moore.
In this moment of promise and peril, we need to rally behind a person with vision and intention.
It's time now for Democrats to coalesce behind the strongest candidate in this race. Who I know will fight for Marylanders with every bone in her body. And if you haven't figured it out yet, I believe that candidate is Angela Alsobrooks.
And Alsobrooks' chief opponent during the Democratic primary on May 14, 2024, will be Congressman David Trone, a businessman who has poured millions of his own money into the race. Well, a big election is on the horizon for Laurel residents, and it could change the makeup of those in charge of city politics. There are currently 5 people running to replace longtime Laurel Mayor Craig Moe, who does not plan on seeking re-election. Kevin Leonard with the Laurel History Boys says there will be a huge influx of new faces at City Hall after the election.
We're going to have a new mayor. There's going to be at least minimum of 3 new councilmen. There are 3 sitting councilmen are running for mayor, so they had to give up their seats. And the current mayor is retiring. And then the 2 incumbents in Ward 1 have challengers, so it could be more than 3. Laurel has become much more diverse over the last, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years. And the council has not always reflected that. But we're going to have a mayor of color for the first time.
A mayoral candidate forum will be held tomorrow night from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Joseph R. Robeson Laurel Municipal Center. You can also watch it on the city's Facebook and YouTube pages. For an in-depth view of the candidates' profiles, you can log on to laurelhistory.com and search for the latest edition of Voices of Laurel. The election takes place on Tuesday, November 7th. Well, Maryland's new interim superintendent attended her first meeting with the state school board today. Dr. Carrie Wright joined the Maryland State Board of Education during this morning's session. They discussed the adoption of a revised version of its college and career readiness standard. Officials say community members can complete an online feedback survey to share their opinions on the CCR standard. For more details, you can visit the website on your screen. Well, Prince George's police are investigating a fatal stabbing in Upper Marlboro this morning. Officers were called to a home on the 4700 block of Captain Bain Court around 1:45 a.m. When police arrived, they found a man inside suffering from stab wounds. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Authorities say they don't think this was a random incident. A North Carolina man is dead following an attempted home burglary in Bowie. The man who attempted the burglary has been identified as Samuel West. Police were called to the home on the 2700 block of Balsam Place just after 7 a.m. on Monday. Authorities say that West and another suspect attempted to force their way into the house after they pepper sprayed the resident. Officials say when West got into the foyer, he was stabbed by the resident. Police say this was not a random incident. And after the break, Simon Buggs is talking high school volleyball in the Tuesday Sports Page report. You don't want to miss it. Stay with us.
Hey there, sports fans, and coming up on your Tuesday Sports page, I got a chance to speak with the head coach as well as a player from the PGCC men's basketball team. I'll have more what the two had to say coming up in a bit. Don't go anywhere.
Ow!
You okay?
No. I mean, yeah, just hit my melon.
Should we see a doctor?
I can't tell a doctor I slipped on a toy. I'm a triathlete. Oh, I had a concussion.
Most happen doing ordinary things.
Sometimes the tough thing to do is to get help to prevent serious damage.
I like your sensitive side.
Don't mess with your melon.
If you hit it, get it checked.
All right, everyone, it's time for your Tuesday Sports page. We'll start with some college hoops news. The PGCC men's basketball team had a great season last year, going 25-5. That was a massive improvement over the prior season when they went 13-12. Head coach Terrell Harris credits the team's competitiveness for the big turnaround.
I think last year we competed at a high level all the time, which contribute to us having a good year. And the guys played for each other. Everybody knew our goals and what was at stake, and we knew that those goals were attainable. So we all locked in, played together, and our goal was just to win the day. Every time we stepped on the floor, it was to go 1-0, and we did that 25 times, so it felt great.
While the Owls had a lot of success, point guard Jasir Trimble still isn't satisfied.
Got a lot accomplished last year, but we left a lot of things on the table. So this season we calling it unfinished business. We got a lot of young guys. We got a lot of guys hungry and ready to play this season. So that's the main goal. 4 for 4. That's the main thing. Maryland JUCO regional championship, district championship, and national championship. Anything shorter than that would be a failure.
The Owls will match up against Northampton Community College for their first game of the season on November 4th. Moving on to high school volleyball news, there was tons of action last night. Oxon Hill took down Friendly 3-0, Bladensburg fell to Laurel 3-0, Flowers added another win to their record, defeating Wise 3-0, and Eleanor Roosevelt came out victorious against Northwestern 3-0 as well. Moving on to college football, UMD assistant coach Kevin Sumlin is in some legal trouble after being charged with driving under the influence in Florida over the weekend. Sumlin was hired as the co-offensive coordinator for the Terps back in February. And lastly, the NBA season kicks off tonight as the Los Angeles Lakers take on the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns take on Golden State. And the Washington Wizards season will begin tomorrow at 7 o'clock versus the Indiana Pacers. And that is your Tuesday Sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. And now let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, clear skies, lows of 44. Wednesday, mostly sunny skies with a high of 74. Thursday, sunshine all day. Temps will reach the upper 70s. And Friday, the beautiful weather continues with a high of 78. Get out and enjoy it. That is your CTV News Update. I'm Patricia Vallone. Join us again tomorrow at 4:30. Have a great evening.
Jessica, we need to leave right now. I need to get something. Dance recitals are so boring.
There's me, no one knows. Waiting to be set
So
free.
what's the empty suitcase for? The grand prize trophy.
Duh.
Confidence. Pass it on.
I was born to be somebody.